Hi everyone, welcome back to Nails by Sora. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to do a little bit of playing around and do some tips and tricks with acrylic and monomer. Now, I've heard for a long time and I've experimented myself with using so-called dip powder with monomer. Now, dip powder has a lot of different ingredients in it, a lot of different powders that comprise a dip powder, and of course it's different per brand. But the main component is acrylic. So theoretically, depending upon the brand, how much acrylic is used, you should be able to use monomer with dip powder instead of going out and buying a whole new line of acrylic. If you're going from dip powder to acrylic, it shouldn't be an issue with using acrylic powders. And dip powders. And yesterday I was playing around, and these are two of my favorite colors, neither of which I've actually gotten to use yet because I've got so many dip powders, it's ridiculous. But these are Sparkle & Co. Colors, and I set it with monomer. So, I mean, you can see how beautiful it came out, how thin the profile is, how well it went down, and I'm going to show you, the process and how I applied it to the nail. But basically, proof is in the pudding. You should be able to use your dip powders like acrylic with monomer, and we're going to do that today. Now, the other trick that I saw yesterday was that you can actually color your monomer with gel polish. So if you've got gel polish and you want to mix and match with acrylic, you can do that too. So I'm going to play with that. The reason I had this in my hand is because it's one of my favorite jelly colors from Dipwell. So I was going to use this when coloring my monomer because obviously you still need to use acrylic. So if you have a white or a clear that you want to use, you can color your monomer and apply that to the nail. So we're going to do those two things. I'm going to use a couple of different products. The monomer I'm using is by Young Nails, and we're going to get right into that. So I'm going to finish getting set up. I'm wearing my gloves. I'm going to be wearing a mask. I'm next to an open window, so make sure whenever you are using monomer, you follow suit. Make sure your hands are covered, make sure your nose is covered, and that you're in a well-ventilated area because you don't want to be breathing it in. Whether it's low odor or not, you want to be as safe as possible. So, like I said, I'm going to finish getting set up, and we're going to get right in with playing around with acrylic and monomer. All right, so I've got my jar of monomer. I'm actually going to top it off, and right now I'm just using clear monomer. I'm not going to color it yet because I'm going to be working straight with the dip powders. I'm going to have this off to the side. I'm using my 8-inch or number 8 Kolinsky brush, which I'm going to soak in the monomer to start. Ordinarily, if you're doing this on yourself or a client, you would of course want to use primer. But I'm just doing it on these nails, and I'm not worried about longevity, so I'm not really going to worry about priming the nails. But I do want to play around with an ombre, but I'm going to save that till last. And we're just going to go right in with, actually let me get my clear acrylic also. We're going to go right in with Parlor Beauty, which is this beautiful shimmery slate green. And one of the reasons why I want to go in with this one first is, first of all, it's a mica powder, so it's a lot more fine, and as you can see, it tends to get all over the place. And I have a lot of trouble when I'm dipping with it of keeping my cuticles clean and not, getting it all over my desktop. So I want to see how much easier it is to use with monomer. I'm just going to clean my brush off a little bit because there's some sparkles in it from when I was playing around last night. I'm going to fully saturate my brush and then pull a little bit off of the back end and then turn it over and pick up a bead. I'm going to press it up towards the cuticle and then work it down towards the free edge. And you can see how liquid it is and how easy it is to work with. Now it's still going to be a bit difficult. You can see it almost looks like liquid metal because it does have all the mica powder in it, so it is going to be a little bit messier than your regular acrylic powders, but you can still work with it quite easily. You may want your beads to be a little bit more dry when working with really pigmented colors, or rather with these mica-based colors, because they are going to run a little bit more, and they are probably going to dirty up your monomer quite easily. But look at that. That was one bead application, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not that great at. Perfectly smooth. Now with this next one, I'm going to go in and I'm going to mix it with the speed clear, but I'm going to pour some off into a cupcake liner because I don't want to contaminate my my white. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the dip powder, and then I'm going to pick up a good bead of the clear, and then I'm going to pull that down the nail. Look how smooth that is. There's no divots, no pits, no sliding. It's a completely smooth surface, and this is 2 coats. So I'm going to leave this one to dry, and I'm going to move on to the next color. If I can get it off my finger. So the next one is going to be Royal Phenomena. This is another beautiful shimmer with some light sparkles. I am going to mix it with the clear again. Just so that I get a little bit more acrylic powder and I can work with it a little bit more easily. Because as you can see, it's very loose. And that's because dip powders tend to be a little lighter on the acrylic powder and a little heavier on the other mixes that comprise it, whatever that may be. Depends on the company and the color. All right, moving on to Surreal Sky. And what I should mention, particularly with ones that have a lot of glitter and flake in them, that you should always stir it up before you use it. And if you have good sized cupcake liners, you might also want to dispense it into a separate container so that you can easily mix it and you can pull the acrylic a little bit better. As you can see, all the acrylic is piled into one spot, and it's separated from the color and the sparkles. So we're just gonna stir that up, get it evenly distributed. That's going to make it lay down a lot easier. So we're gonna start off the same way as before, picking up a good amount of first of all, I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna pick up a good amount of monomer, pick up a bead, and then press it onto the nail. You can wait for it to set a bit before you go into it. Let it run down the nail. And then start moving it and shaping it onto the nail. Okay, so for this last one, I'm going to ombre together Treasure Turquoise and Moments Like This. Now, Treasure Turquoise, I believe, is an opal. No, it's a sparkle. Or a flake, rather. And Moments Like This. So I'm going to leave Moments Like This in the jar. I think that's Moments Like This. Yep. And I'm going to take the flake and put it into a different container, like so. And then we're just going to go through the same process, but I'm only going to work the flake halfway up the nail. Let's stir this around first before I forget. So this one already is going on a lot more easily because it's mostly acrylic powder to help encapsulate the flakes. It's not moving as much on the nail and it's setting a lot more easily, which I'm actually quite in love with. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more because I want it to disperse a little bit more up the nail. And then I'm going to go in with Moments Like This. Having a little trouble getting this corner here. I don't know if I'm picking up a lot of clear that's mixed in with the color or what's going on, but I'm just going to try to get that little corner fully saturated. And I'm going to take a little bit of clear with the color and then go over at the top here so I can get that evened out a little bit and carry the ombre on through. And because I love this color so much, I'm going to do a full nail of it. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, then I'm going to encapsulate it in clear, and then we're going to be ready to finish off these nails. Okay, so while those nails are curing, I'm just going to set up my Dappen dish with some monomer. Not going to use a lot. Of course, I'm gonna spill it like I usually do. And I'm going to choose a color. Since we did blues and purples on the other nails, what color shall we use? I don't know. Let's do Twilight Lilac. So from what I saw online, all they did was take a few drops and drop it into the monomer. Drop. Okay. So I am going to swish that around with my brush, get it nice and purpley. And then I'm going to use my jelly color. Never mind the spillage. And just the same process as usual with your acrylic. So now we have a purple jelly acrylic powder. Excuse me while I scratch my nose. So I'm going to go in with another layer. Just want to put a little bit more from the center point down. Look at that. Guys, I mean, this is a game changer. I mean, talk about trying to save money when you're doing your own nails and then you fall in love with the art of it and you end up spending more money than you could ever spend going to a salon. But if you can really find multi-use purposes for all of your products so that you don't have to keep purchasing the same thing, the same colors in just different products, then that just opens up a whole new playground, so to speak. So that's one color. Let's do one more. Of course, now I have to change monomer, but there's really not much left in here to begin with. So I'm just going to move this aside. I'm going to get another Dappen dish, a little bit more monomer, and we'll use a different color. That should be enough. So we went violet with that one. What other color should we do? Let's do... What color goes with violet? Let's do yellow. It's opposite on the spectrum. And I really don't do that much with yellow. All right, so all of these nails are ready to go. I did have to reshape this one just a little bit, even it out. But now all that's left to do, ooh, that's weird. Look at that. I think that's just this nail, because none of the other ones are like that. Something with the manufacturing of this nail, this area is just a little bit thinner, so it's bending. That's really weird. But anyway, that goes here. I'm gonna go and finish these off. All I need is a base and a top coat. Base coat to make it sticky, top coat to make it stick to the stick and, well, shiny. I'm still wearing my mask. Why am I still wearing my mask? But actually there's a sharpish edge here, so I'm just going to trim that down. Little bit of isopropyl alcohol to get the dust off, and then base coat and top coat, and we are done with these nails. All right, so that brings us to the end of this video. Let's see if I can keep these nails on the wand. till for the duration. But anyway, so that wraps us up. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to the channel, please give me a like and a subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. All the products I use will be listed in the description box below. I really love working with acrylic and monomer. I don't know why, it just feels a little bit more painterly to me, and I really do enjoy the process. It's also something new, so that's something that I really enjoy, learning new techniques and being able to convey tips and tricks to you. So once again, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you always know when new videos are available. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.